Did you know that 80% of the most successful movies and books have one thing in common? It's not the characters or the setting, it's the conflict. Without it, stories would fall flat. Imagine watching a movie where everything goes right for the hero. No obstacles, no drama. Boring, right? This is why conflict is the secret ingredient to great storytelling. Here's another surprising fact. Stories with conflict have a 40% higher chance of engaging their audience. Why? Because conflict pulls people in. It creates tension, excitement, and the need to know what happens next. But here's the catch: creating great conflict isn't easy. Many writers struggle with it, and that's where you can stand out. In this video, we'll show you why conflict is absolutely necessary for your story and how you can create it in a way that captivates your audience. We'll dive into strategies that can turn a simple struggle into a powerful, emotional journey. By the end, you'll understand how to weave conflict into your stories to make them unforgettable. Stick with us, and let's get into how to make your story truly come to life. Chapter 1: The heartbeat of your story. Why conflict is essential. Conflict is the backbone of any great story. Without it, your characters float aimlessly, and your plot loses its drive. Imagine a story where everything goes smoothly, there's no challenge, no stakes, no change. It'd be boring, right? Conflict keeps the audience engaged and invested, pushing both the characters and the plot forward. Let's start by exploring why conflict is so important in storytelling. At its core, conflict sparks interest. Think of your favorite movies or books, each one has a conflict that hooks you in. Whether it's a villain, a personal struggle, or a life-changing event, the conflict creates a need to know what happens next. It's the tension that holds attention, not just for the moment, but for the entire story. Conflict gives your characters something to fight for. This fight might be literal, like in action-packed thrillers, or internal, like a character struggling with self-doubt. Regardless, it forces them to evolve. Without conflict, your characters remain stagnant. As author John Truby states in The Anatomy of Story, great stories are built around the challenge of the protagonist and their need to confront their flaws. Chapter 2: The Anatomy of a Killer Conflict. 3 key ingredients. Now, let's break down the anatomy of a killer conflict. There are 3 essential ingredients to crafting a compelling conflict: emotional investment, clear stakes, and rising tension. First, emotional investment. When you care about the character, you care about their struggle. That's why great conflicts often involve personal stakes, losing something valuable, or risking everything for a goal. Second, let's talk about clear stakes. A conflict without clear stakes is like a race with no finish line. What's at risk? What happens if the character fails? Having high stakes, whether it's the safety of a loved one or the character's sense of self, makes the conflict feel significant. Remember the words of The Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Campbell: the hero's journey is the journey of transformation through conflict. Third, there's the rising tension. Every great conflict builds and intensifies. The more the protagonist struggles, the greater the payoff when they succeed or fail. Just like in The Lord of the Rings, where the stakes escalate with every step towards Mount Doom, your story's conflict should keep building, leading to a moment of peak intensity. Chapter 3: From Bland to Bold. Crafting conflict that packs a punch. But how do you avoid making your conflict feel bland or predictable? It's all about creating bold, layered challenges. Instead of just having a bad guy to defeat, challenge your character in unexpected ways. Give them personal stakes, something to lose emotionally, not just physically. Conflict doesn't just need to be about hitting external obstacles, it can be about grappling with internal struggles, too. Take the Hunger Games as an example. Katniss Everdeen isn't just fighting to survive the games. She's also fighting against her own feelings, her relationships, and the system that controls her life. This multi-dimensional conflict is what makes her journey captivating. You also need to make your conflict fresh. Avoid cliches that make the audience yawn. For example, the classic good guy versus bad guy conflict can feel flat if it's done without nuance. The villain should be as complex as the hero. What do they want, and why do they want it? What's driving them? The best antagonists have goals that, while opposing the protagonist, make sense from their perspective. Here's a surprising fact: some of the best conflicts in storytelling aren't purely about the villain. In Breaking Bad, Walter White's biggest enemy isn't just the drug cartel, it's his own pride and ego. His internal conflict is what drives the external drama. The conflict between his moral compass and the choices he makes creates a compelling narrative. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got more exciting tips and tricks ahead. Chapter 4: Sympathy versus Antagonism. Who's the real villain? Who's the real villain in your story? It doesn't always have to be a traditional bad guy. In some cases, the antagonist can be an internal struggle. Think about how The Great Gatsby is more about Gatsby's obsessive love and his inability to move on than an external villain. That's a conflict that resonates deeply with the audience. A great conflict also taps into universal themes: fear, love, desire, loss. These are the emotions that all people experience. By crafting a conflict based on something universally relatable, you allow your audience to connect with your characters on a deeper level. Let's face it, no one wants a boring villain who only causes trouble for the sake of it. Make your antagonist multi-dimensional. What motivates them? Why do they do what they do? Give them a backstory and let them evolve, just like your protagonist does. Chapter 5: When Conflict Breaks. How to use setbacks for story growth. Conflict isn't just about what's at stake, it's about how the character reacts when things go wrong. In Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry faces not only the Triwizard Tournament's challenges but also the darkness of Lord Voldemort's return. Every time he fails, he grows stronger. Failure isn't a roadblock, it's an opportunity for growth. Incorporating failure into your story makes the conflict feel real. Nobody wants to watch a hero breeze through challenges without breaking a sweat. Failures allow for character development and personal transformation. As the late film critic Roger Ebert once said, it's not how many times a character falls down that matters, but how they get up. Chapter 6: The Final Showdown. Wrapping up conflict with impact. As your story nears its end, it's time to resolve the conflict. But here's where many stories falter. The resolution must feel earned, not forced. If the conflict was complex, the resolution should be equally so. No sudden, out-of-nowhere solutions that feel like a cheat. In The Dark Knight, Batman's final confrontation with the Joker is messy, complex, and leaves lasting consequences. It's not neatly tied up, but it's powerful because it makes sense within the story's conflict. That's the kind of resolution you should aim for, one that feels satisfying, yet leaves room for reflection. Remember, the conflict you create shapes the entire narrative. Whether it's the rising tension, the hurdles faced by the protagonist, or the final showdown, every conflict should serve the character's journey. Keep your audience invested by making the conflict personal, layered, and unpredictable. Ultimately, conflict isn't just a plot device, it's the lifeblood of storytelling. It challenges your characters, forces them to grow, and keeps your audience hooked. So, next time you sit down to write, remember, a great story is only as strong as the conflict that drives it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on becoming a master storyteller.